You're listening to the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. I'm Allison Boyle, aka She Dreams of Alpine, and this is the show that's dedicated to all the adventurous spirits out there who have either been transformed by the outdoors or are interested in what it looks like to step into a new, adventurous, and courageous kind of identity in their life. It doesn't matter what your background is in the outdoors, what age you're starting at, or where you grew up. If you're curious about the outdoors and using adventure as a way to reinvent yourself, you're in the right place. I'll be sharing all kinds of personal adventure stories, lessons I've learned from the mountains, teaching what I know about the outdoors and leadership, and interviewing some amazing adventurous women all along the way. I've been coaching women on becoming safe, confident, and self-sufficient backpackers and leaders of their own adventurous lives since 2018, and I know exactly what big fears and self-doubts can pop up along the way. I have so much to share with you, so let's dive in. All right. Hello. Hello, my friends. My name is Allison. Also, I have with me on this call Kellie from my team. Most of y'all probably know me. If you're on this call, you've been getting emails from me, you've been following She Dreams of Alpine. But I'm the founder of She Dreams of Alpine, of the Backpacking Badass program. And I've been, doing this full time for 6 years and, being adventurous myself for well over a decade at this point. Coaching full time for 6 years. And I'm also a certified life coach, and we're guides. And maybe Kellie, if you want to introduce kind of your role on the team here at She Dreams of Alpine too, just in case anybody wants to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, so I'm like the community manager, so I get to do all things social media, including hanging out a lot in our student Facebook group, and I do a lot of like testimonial calls. I am like on a text and phone call basis with a lot of our students. So I get to see a lot of like what people are up to and maybe some of the things that they might need more help with.
Yeah. So for anybody who's new around here, we kind of have a small but mighty team. And it's me, Kellie, and we have one other coach in the program. Her name's Kate. So you would meet her if you're inside of the Backpacking Badass program as well. And she comes with her own kind of like wealth of experience and background and can support you. She's a AMGA single pitch certified rock climbing guide. And so she really loves rock climbing. I really love rock climbing. Kellie's starting to love rock climbing. So we bring all different kinds of backgrounds to the Backpacking Badass community and all the things. So we have been getting a lot of questions coming in this week in our inbox over DMs and things like that. And so what we know that some of you guys are considering joining the Backpacking Badass program with us this week. And you might have some lingering questions. So we thought we would do this FAQ call. And I know it's kind of a weird time of the day, so some of you might not be able to join live. You might be listening to this as a replay. We're going to post it on the podcast too. That way you get a chance to listen in and make some decisions and get some clarity. And that is basically our whole goal here with this discussion, is to give you clarity. So clarity about whether the Backpacking Badass program is right for you, what it includes, what it's like to be inside of that community, what you can expect if you join. Basically, we're just going to go over all the things and give you a behind the scenes. So if you are live on this call or, chiming in with us later, if you're thinking about joining and you have questions, like, you're in the right place. Always feel free to ask them. And we have put together for this call, like, a list of some of our most common questions that we've been getting, and like some that we always get during enrollment, because we just figured if they're on other people's mind, they're probably on your mind too. So we're going to kick off with those. But then in addition, like, this is a space for whatever you need. So while we're talking, you're welcome to drop your questions into the chat, anything that you might have at all. And then we'll also get to those too. So, Kellie, you want to kick us off with our very first question?
Yes, so this is a different kind of enrollment. We
Yeah.
have these throughout the year, we have different kind of themed ones. So give us the scoop on Black Friday, like the high level, what they absolutely need to know.
Okay. Yeah, Black Friday is kind of like our end of the year, like, final celebration of all the things backpacking badass program, and we like to go all out with it. It's kind of like I just like to think of it as like a week-long party. I want to make it as fun as possible. So we drop some of our best deals. We have $200 off on this program all week, so like a really huge discount on the program. And then we also have like so many fun bonuses all week, and I've been dropping like surprise bonuses as well during this week as well that we only offer during Black Friday. So it's kind of like we're like really wanting to celebrate you. We're getting ready for the new year, and it's like a final moment to lock in and get really excited for stepping into your adventure era and all those things. I did want to mention before we get started, so if you are listening or you're listening to the replay, like you can enroll by going to shedreamsofalpine.com/Black Friday. That is our enrollment page this week. And it also has more details about the program. And doors close tomorrow. So Friday, November 21st at midnight. So I just wanted to put that up front because there's only a couple more days left after today to join us in the program with our Black Friday deals. So that's a little bit of background. Do you have anything to add to that, Kelly?
Pacific time, midnight
Oh,
Pacific
totally.
time. Yes, Los Angeles time. Okay, so I notice when you and I are planning these big events and we're like working on the back end, your energy really gets electric in Black Friday.
Yeah.
It seems to be like you have a reason that you love Black Friday and why you think it's like the best time to join. So can you like explain that kind of energy and why you get so excited this time of year?
Yeah, like I think there is this temptation to like go into a slump. Like, I mean, I know the holidays should be really exciting and they are, but like sometimes we also kind of just go into a slump and being like, oh, like I didn't meet these goals or I didn't do this year or like I didn't make it happen. And we're kind of like hard on ourselves. And so I really like this to kind of be a reset of that and us like reclaiming like what we're excited to bring to life and like bringing that energy. And Black Friday is just a really fun way to kind of, for me, celebrate that and getting everybody really excited about the new year. And so, one of the things that I really wanted to do this year that I've actually never done in the past years is that I'm doing something brand new in December. And I actually, like, you might have read my notes on this, Kelly, like just before this call, but I actually even hadn't told Kelly on my team about this. This happens to me a lot, actually. I have ideas all the time and I'm like,
I
I can't keep up.
I said, I'm gonna be going on vacation the week after Black Friday. And she said, wait, I need to give you my coaching call schedule
Yes,
because
it's
I
changed.
have something, I have a new bonus I'm adding for the students. So she like added this after Black Friday started, even.
Yeah, this was like, I think something I had an idea about this weekend, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly the energy that I want. Like, me personally, this is something that will be so good for me. And because I know that I would be super stoked about it, like, I'm super excited to do this with all of our new students and existing students. So, like, if you're listening to this and you're an existing backpacking badass student, you also get access to this, which I haven't even announced it yet. Everyone's like, what's she talking about? So, I'm gonna like send out an official announcement to everyone tomorrow. But if you're on the call or you're listening to the replay, you get to hear about it a little earlier. So in December, I've decided to host a series of 5 calls. I'm calling it the Adventurous Identity kind of glow up coaching series. And it's exclusively for our backpacking badass community in December. And basically, it will be a series of weekly coaching calls that are focused on reconnecting with who you are at your core, rebuilding like that personal power, looking at what it really means to embody adventurous life on and off the trail, and ultimately remembering how to lead your life from possibility. And like the idea behind this is like, I want December to be like momentum building into January instead of us getting to January and being like, having to pick ourselves up from the holidays and like the slump of that and then like having to start from scratch. Like I want you to guys to be starting January feeling really like on fire to make this happen because that's going to get you out on the trail sooner, get you out on your first adventure. And when you do that, like the first one is the catalyst to everything else that happens after that. So we're going to really kick off January with a high vibration. And in addition to that, anyone who joins this week you will get to be part of that. So that's super exciting. But also, everyone who joins this week, I'm also going to be creating this sort of a PDF guide with a full year of journaling prompts that really like align with that vision as well. So they can kind of like help you re-tap in, re-be in the energy, like whenever you need to come back to yourself or you need to like pick yourself up from wherever you are during the year. It'll just be like moments that you can come back to and kind of reconnect with yourself. So that's something we're doing that I've never done before and I'm really excited about.
I am too. That's like the first time hearing about it as
Yes.
well.
So I know because so we usually publish our coaching call schedule at the beginning of the month and Kelly always helps me like put that together. And that's why, and I knew she was going out next week, and I was like, oh, snap, she's probably putting that coaching call schedule together this week because she's going to be gone next week. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that I send this to Kelly. So yeah, that's a little bit of a teaser for what's coming in December.
Okay, and so more like on the background, like behind the scenes stuff. When we were planning out Black Friday,
Yeah.
you were like, I love this idea of locking in. So we
Yeah.
went with locking in your 2026 adventure era. Can you explain how you came to that and like what that means, what that energy means for you and the clients coming in?
Yeah. I actually first heard this term like locking in. I heard it on a Instagram reel from somebody that I follow like back in August and I was like, "Oh, this." I actually ended up looking it up because I'm just like a millennial and I just don't know things. And I was like, "What does locking in mean?" And I was very curious about it and then I was like reading about the concept and I was like, "I love this idea." Um and especially if you remember, Kelly, I published a podcast episode about a new climbing goal that I was going to step into, like something I had never done before, something really hard. And it was like a really perfect alignment for me because I can be a little bit type A sometimes. I'm like very like sometimes will tend towards perfectionist tendencies, even though like I've really worked on that over the years. But like a lot of times my brain is like waiting for perfect conditions, which probably many of you can maybe relate to. But it's in my brain, it kind of sounds like this is going to sound silly or very relatable to people, but I'll be like, oh, I'll start that on Monday because it's the beginning of the week, or oh, I'll start that in the next month at the very beginning of the month, or oh, and this can sound like at this time of the year, it can sound like, oh, I'll start that in January in the new year. So, like, sometimes my brain will be like, defaulting to that but like locking the term locking in which why I got really obsessed with it kind of gives me permission of being like what if I didn't wait? And like, what if I just like really committed and went all in right now, like imperfect conditions? Like, it gets me to ask questions like, if I were to be that person right now, locking in right now to create that future goal or future version of me that I'm looking to do. In this example, it was like that climbing goal what would I do? Like, how would I be showing up right now instead of like waiting for more ideal or perfect conditions? And it gives me a lot of permission to like do things imperfectly. And it's been a really powerful reframe, and I'm obsessed with it. And it's like, yeah, like sometimes I will maybe not have the most perfect ideal week, and then I'll be like, all right, tomorrow we lock it in. And I've been just like coming back again and again and having like little sections of locking it in. So I'm currently obsessed with it. So I liked the idea of that for this Black Friday too. Like, what would it look like for people to like see this future that they want to create in 2026, this really adventurous lives, really stepping into it and committed to her right now. And, you know, with the adventurous identity coaching calls we're adding in December, it's like we will get to start building that momentum like as soon as possible.
Yeah, I love that. That's going to be really fun energy to go into December with. So,
Yes.
and you did, we talked about what you have planned for December with more coaching calls.
Yeah.
And it is a holiday season that's coming up. We're
Mhm.
currently in the thick of holiday season, and that can feel pretty busy and overwhelming for a lot of people, especially women that have a lot of
Yes.
responsibilities on them in the holidays. So, what does it actually mean for people to join this week? Like, can you clarify the options people have to getting started in the program?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Or that's a really good question too, because you do have options with the Backpacking Badass program. It's not like you join this week and then you have to immediately start the program as soon as possible, or else you're going to lose access in a certain amount of time. Now, when you join the Backpacking Badass program, like you become a lifetime member of our community, of the course, any future updates that we make, and even ongoing coaching calls. So, like, we do monthly coaching calls, not usually one every single week, like we're doing that's special for January, but we usually do about 3 calls a month. Either myself, Kelly, or Kate. We will like rotate around doing Q&A coaching calls. They're more like curriculum based, or like if you have a specific question about a trail that you're working through, like I can remember last year, or this, it's the same year. I don't know why I'm saying last year already. This year, Zuli was on the call asking you, like, me and you every week questions about her like Lost Coast backpacking trip. So we were really helping her like work out the nitty gritty.
There had
Uh,
to be 8 calls. There's 8 back-to-back
but
calls with Lost Coast
she
Trail
like
stuff.
showed
Like
up to
if
get what
you
she
wanted,
wanted.
if you want to hike the Lost Coast Trail, we literally have basically a mini course on
A
it from the
master class
Q&A
in our coaching call.
calls.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of options. You get ongoing support no matter what. So, like, that's a really important thing to highlight here because I don't want people to be like, well, if I join this now, like, am I going to have to start? Like, you have options. So, you can start now if you want. You can join the program this week and like literally start diving in if you're very, very stoked about it. Um, we also have like a kickoff call. I have a kickoff call on Monday to welcome in everyone new, do just kind of like a Q&A call for anybody who has questions and all of those things. So that'll be Monday, I think November 24th is Monday, I think. Um, so you can start now. You could decide to start the official program and course material in January if you wanted to. So like maybe the easiest thing for you, like the less stressful thing for you, would it be like, I want to commit now, but start the program in January? And what might be actually really great, this could be really great for some of you, especially if you're feeling really busy, is all of those December calls that we have planned. Like, I'm hoping to make them like podcast style. So you can also just, when you're busy, you're wrapping presents, you're folding laundry or anything, you can like put it in your ear. You can get the motivation you need. You could spend a little bit of time for yourself, but not a huge commitment. And then in January, when you feel like maybe you have more time, you can kick off the course. Like that's totally fine too. Um, and you could also start whenever you want. So like let's say you have a goal to do a backpacking trip in the summer, or that's like the general time frame you would like to do a first trip or think about doing a first trip, then you could just like pace out doing the program up to then. You have lifetime access. So it's really like kind of up to you. Do you have anything like, did I miss anything there, Kelly?
No, and I love that you bring up like lifetime access and then people don't have to like rush into it to meet a deadline because I've definitely been in programs where I have to like get through as much as possible, which for me it's like hard to retain that then.
Right.
So yeah, I
And
love
and like you can always come back to it is I think one of the biggest things for me when I was
yeah.
creating this program and like deciding around lifetime access or not. I was like, well, I know I have gone to things and gone to classes where, and sometimes like this is a disadvantage of learning things like in person, is you like learn them in person, but then you have nothing to reference afterwards and you forget everything. Like you're just like,
Yeah.
literally, I forget all the things they taught me, or
And
I
I
forget
love
what I
seeing
did.
like the evolution of all of our
Yes,
like this the adventures that people go on. Like somebody starts out and like they crush their first overnight or like they feel more confident being in a group, maybe as
right.
like a group participant, or they did their first solo. And
Yeah.
then you like, I think of Sherry, one of our ambassadors, who just kind of started really, really small and she really likes going solo. That's kind of her comfort zone. And she has done things like ambassador trips with 52 Hike Challenge in Patagonia, and really her only goal when she first started the program was to explore the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
And now she's like bagging peaks in other countries and doing like she just did a volunteer research week at Isle Royale National Park on a biologist team, like doing moose research. And that was all because she built the confidence in the program. So I think I'm a little selfishly like into the lifetime access. I don't know if I could ever let you let that go because I can't let the students go.
Well, I'm committed to it. I'm all in. But like,
Yeah, we
because
love the students and like seeing what everybody gets up to.
well, and also like I love just like updating the program, like just a little behind the scenes. Like we're always adding things to the program. This year alone, we've added like several new things. And just as a member, you're going to get any upgrades we make to the program. We have some really big plans coming
Yes.
up. So you get to be
And
part of
when gear and tech gets updated, which it does often, like we're there testing it and like walking our students through updates and like new industry standards, on top of keeping our program
that. Yeah.
current. So,
Love
okay,
that.
so this now that we're talking about the program, this is a perfect like segue. So let's switch gears a little bit so you can give a little more detail into what people get in the core program. So can you talk us through Backpacking Badass and what students get in it?
Yeah. So if you're really brand new around here and you're like, okay, I'm just kind of finding you, I still am a little bit confused or I don't exactly know what the Backpacking Badass program. I'm going to give you just like a very high level like overview of what it is and more resources where you can like learn even more. So the Backpacking Badass program, it's a course, it's a online training program and a coaching program that teaches you and a community. It teaches you how to plan, prepare, and head out on any backpacking adventure with absolute confidence. So it's built for like everyday women who are starting from scratch, maybe haven't never ever backpacked before, or maybe they're looking to expand their skills. Like maybe they've been on a trip before with somebody, but they weren't the leader and they want to step up into it, who really want to like lean into being self-sufficient and like having their own back and know that no matter what, like whether they're in a group or they're out solo or anything, that they will be safe and they are confident in their own skills. So they're not like worried about any of those things. And that's a really like an empowering place to be because I remember that specific transition for myself. So we do this through our 5-step framework. So we built out a 5-step backpacking badass framework that essentially walks you through like 5 core elements. The first one is learning how to pick a trail and select a trail properly. So this is basically picking something that both excites you and matches your current abilities or like is in the realm of like, oh, I think I could grow into this trail. Because as you like when you first start, you might do different trips than when you are like a little bit more experienced and understanding like why you might choose one or the other is really important skill to learn. So that's when you're going to come back to again and again and again. And then we have a module all about training your body and like getting strong and getting prepared for the adventure that you're setting out on before and like knowing a little bit something about your body. Like, how is it going to feel? Like, can I manage this before you ever hit the trail and like get yourself deep into the backcountry? And then module 3, this is like your nitty gritty, like all things gear systems. So, what gear do you actually need? What do you not need? Where should you have redundancy in your gear for like the most essential safety items? How can we like optimize our gear to be as efficient as possible, maybe light as possible, but also just like when you're just starting out, also how can we be scrappy with what we have and start small? Because like you don't need fancy stuff to get started. And like I think if you're waiting for that, you're missing out on a lot. I would rather you so much more like work on building the skills and then like build your perfect setup over time. And there's a lot of options for that that we have a whole resource built out for you inside of that module and like how to get started small. And then module 4 is like all of your self-sufficient backpacking skills. So think things like navigation, like any safety skill sets that you need, like how to understand weather and wildlife dangers and preventing encounters, and then what to do if you have an encounter, and all of those kinds of things, like first aid, things like that. So these are the skills that actually make you self-sufficient and not reliant on the other people and like the ability like you could go solo if you wanted to, right? And not dependent on others. And then the final module is we call it the mastery module. It's basically like putting everything together around planning and like really stepping into that leadership energy. So planning and completing your trips like a pro from route research. Like you pick your trail, but sometimes that can happen really early on. Like for example, like I might be like, "Oh, I know I want to do this trail in the summer. I'm going to grab a permit," but I might not do all of my route planning and details and trip plan and safety plan until it gets a bit closer. So this is teaching you how to do all of that and also how to build like a communication plan. And so that way that when you're out on the trail, other people that are not with you, like family members, loved ones, whoever your safety contact is, they would know how to support you in also having a really safe adventure. So our goal with all of those things is not to just help you go on one backpacking trip. It's really to help you learn the skills so that this becomes a repeatable, easy process for you and that you can do any kind of trip that you want to in the future and then really build that courage and stack those skills over time. So we have a whole section if you want to learn more about that. There's actually a whole section on the enrollment page at shedreamsofalpine.com/Black Friday. Kelly has already dropped that in the chat, so hopefully you can see that. But if you scroll down on that page, it will go through what's in module one, what's in module two, what's in module three. So you can kind of see all of those details in there if you want to check it out. Um, yeah, Kelly, that was like a long-winded answer to your question, but did I
Yeah. So that
capture
was
it?
like, I think so. Yeah, that was like our 5-step framework that you really focused on. So like the 5 core modules that break literally everything you need to know. I come from a biology and outdoor recreation background, and this
Yeah.
is maybe I'm biased now, but even when I first came on the team, this is like one of the most comprehensive trainings I personally have ever seen. And I've been backpacking since like college when I was a forester. So,
Well, and did you listen to that episode with Victoria that just dropped?
yes. Oh my
Yesterday. Oh,
gosh.
and she was talking about how I just thought this was funny or fun and funny. But she was telling me her husband is Eagle Scout. And I was like, "Oh, well like I get like I told her I was like, I get why, sometimes it's hard to learn from our husbands or significant others. Like they just don't teach us in the same ways."
Yeah.
But she was talking about how like even he learns a few things from her when she went out and led her first trip. So if you guys haven't listened to
Yeah.
the episode, it's a good one. I think it's literally going to be the one just before this. It dropped on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
And I just talked to another student that just went on their graduation trip with their very outdoorsy husband that
Yeah.
like used to be the planner of everything. And for her, she was telling me that like she grew up and her dad was really outdoorsy and he just took the lead on everything. So she never saw her mom have to take the lead on stuff like that. And so she said that she never took the lead on things like that and just let her husband take the lead. But then she would go out with him, and if a plan changed, she would get highly anxious because she didn't understand the plan, which I can remember as a new person crying in the back of the backpacking group because I had no
Right.
idea what the plan was and nobody told me and I didn't understand how to figure it out. So I could
Yeah.
really relate to that. And so she talked about that, and that's why she joined because she wanted to be that strong group contributor, even though she had people in her life that were already taking her out. It just made the trips way more enjoyable for her. And now it gives her and her husband the chance to kind of like ping pong who plans
Yeah.
the trips. And it's
Yeah.
not, you don't get burnout as the leader. So even if you do, yeah, have people that do it, they may not know how to teach you in that way, or, especially men may not have the
Same
perspective
perspective.
that
Like,
we need. Yeah, that's what Victoria was saying. Like her husband might not even think of something that she needs in the backcountry, like
right.
how to handle periods or periomenopause or menopause, or even thinking something might not be for us because
Right.
society told him that too. So,
I remember this distinctly because actually when I first got started, I had a lot of male like friends that I would go out with and some male mentors.
same. Yep, same.
And there were so many moments when I was getting started where I was like feeling like I couldn't share like how like nervous I was or how like there were so many parts of like I just would like grit and like hold my tongue because I'm like these like I don't think they're gonna like relate to this or like understand like why I feel like anxious or like why I feel scared and like not having the outlet to like talk that through was pretty hard in the beginning. And
Just
like,
just being like, "Hey, can you wait while I pee because I have to go like take my
yeah,
pants
like
down and
feeling like you're
squat?"
gonna
Like it's a lot
bother.
faster than
So much, yeah, like so much unlocked for me when I really like saw myself as like fully self-sufficient. The moment where I felt really fully self-sufficient, that I had my back no matter even if somebody like left me behind. Because I remember in the very beginning when I didn't have these skills, I was always so nervous, like if I get left behind, like then what? It was always just like, well, then what do I do? Like, and just really nervous and anxious about that all the time. But like when I wasn't, I would be like, it's okay if they're faster than me and they're not waiting on me. Like I just was like, that is not something I have to worry about anymore because I know the plan. I know where we're going. I know how not to get lost. If I never connected with them again because they just said see you later, like I could just set up my tent. I could like take care of myself. It's fine. Like girl, you got this. So that gave me like so much more confidence to like still not count myself out of going on trips with people who at the time I thought were more experienced and better at things than me because I was like still very confident in my own skills and not worried about getting left behind. I don't know. That seems like such a small thing, but it was really huge for me
yeah,
when I first got
like
started.
I think that anytime you have that confidence shift, that's like you're never going to forget that trip. You're going to
Yeah.
always remember that trip as a pivotal moment. So that is all, what we were just, that was a bit of a tangent to say that
Yeah.
just like our 5-step framework can help address those things, but the program is a lot more, not to confuse people, but there is way more than just these on-demand videos and training. So can you kind of get into the extras that people get on top of these videos they can watch whenever is convenient for them?
Yes, absolutely. So when I was first creating this program back in like, building it in 2018, I think we first dropped it in 2019. But one of the things I was thinking about is like, I really want this not to just be like a course, like I also want it to be like mentorship and like community driven as well. Because and I want that support to be ongoing. Like I want it it's just like really exciting for me to see people not only go on their first trip but then like grow over the years as backpackers and grow in their adventurous like futures and expand. Like sometimes we think, oh, I probably could only do this, and then you do that and you're like, well, what else could I do? And so you get to see the evolution of people as they grow, and that's really exciting for me. And then I also really wanted people to not feel alone in this process and more importantly like have a place. I was talking about this with my example to process those fears. Like one thing we talk about a lot in the program is pre-trip resistance, which is like when your brain is screaming at you like I'm not ready. I don't think I should go. Like I'm too busy. Like anything, any kind of like mind drama is what I call it. That might happen before a trip. And it's like one of the biggest reasons people don't go on trips. And we coach on it a lot in the program. And I love to also help support people in that mind drama because that was something that I didn't have in the beginning and would have been really helpful. So the way we do that is we kind of mentioned it earlier, but I'm just going to reiterate it again. We have personalized coaching, so you can get feedback from me or Kelly or Kate on our team with 3 different calls a month. So we usually do two Q&A coaching calls. This is literally like anything about the program, anything about an individual trip you might have. Sometimes people are working through something and they're like, I really need help, extra help understanding this like GPS piece. Like, I just need it explained to me in a different way. And we'll do that on those calls. And I also host a monthly mindset call typically. And those are kind of where we get to have a conversation like this. So, where Kelly and I are talking to each other, we just hop on a live call. There's usually like a handful of us live on the call. You can raise your hand, and me and you just get to have a conversation like what's happening, what's going on, tell me all the things, and then we can like talk from that place and like be really open and like curious about like what's maybe keeping us stuck or what we want to grow into and all those things. And that's kind of where my like life coaching certification piece sort of comes in and mixes in. I like the combo of the mindset internal work with the adventurous work as well. That's kind of like my jam, what I really love to do. And then in addition to that, so that's ongoing. usually 3 times a month. In December, we're doing one a week. But also, you get to be part of a community. So we have over 1,900 women inside of the Backpacking Badass program since we first opened it in 2019. And so that the most beautiful thing about that is like we have some women who have been in that program for like over 6 years now and have grown so much. And they are actually like now really experienced mentors to you who might just be beginning, but they were also beginners. I was also a beginner, so was Kelly. So we all kind of like started in the same place, but you get to like meet people in different places. So either they're just starting out like you, or maybe they're just a little ahead and they have some advice for you, or like they can help you out. And people all over the world, all over the US, different trails, different experiences. So you get a lot of like really helpful, advice and support from women. And like it's just fun to really cheer each other on and support each other and like pick each other up when we're down, all of those things. So it's like this is a little biased, but I think it's like one of the better Facebook communities I've been part of because it's pretty active. Um, and yeah, so that is those are like the biggest extra pieces, but like just to reiterate, it's also about mindset, it's also about skill mastery, and we're really interested in being with you in this whole journey. So it's not just that first trip you go on, like you might have one trip in the spring and then you have a couple more trips in the summer. Like anytime you need support, you can hop on a coaching call and get that support as you grow. And we're there to support you in this journey. And that's like a big piece of it. And then maybe, Kelly, you can tell them about one of the other things that we do. And it kind of features actually what I'm wearing right now if you're on the video
Yeah.
watching the video.
I just shipped like 10 of them out this week. So,
Yeah, tell them what
when
it is.
it's a graduation gift, and we send you a hat, there are a couple different color versions of them.
I'm
But
gonna get close to the thing so you can
yes,
see
it
it.
says backpacking badass. We do not sell it. We don't give it away for anything other than someone
Has to be
completing.
earned.
Yes, someone completing their first backpacking trip since joining the program. So, for people like Christy and Virginia that had been backpacking before, it was just the first one that they claimed after going through the program, or it might be somebody's first ever backpacking trip, first solo trip, first guided trip. We literally let you define it because we just want you to be able to define what success means to you and then support you in your goals to get there, which is really the great thing about backpacking. You can cater it to your preferences and needs.
Yeah.
We even have a student talking about doing like a greenway or a rails to trail, like a paved trail, and hiking campground to campground backpack style, which is like crazy accessible. So
Yeah.
you can really make backpacking whatever you want, whether it's one overnight and like a mile or less in. Those are some of my favorites. Or you want to do a through hike of the Pacific Crest Trail where you're on the trail for 3 months. Like it doesn't matter. So you would literally get to decide your graduation and then you send us the story, we celebrate with you, and I ship out a hat with a
For
cute little
free.
certificate. Yes, you don't pay anything. You just get it in the mail when you tell us that you did your big epic trip.
I
So
mean, I
it's
think
really
like
fun. And I
for me,
cover the
like,
boxes in stickers.
oh yeah, Kelly goes above and beyond. I mean, like for me, like the real one reason I really wanted to do this because I know we can get in our heads really easily about like seeing something through or like there's a lot like you're learning, especially if you're brand new. There's a lot you're learning. It can be a little bit scary and it's like I just really want to celebrate the heck out of you for like getting out there, being brave, doing your first trip. And this is kind of one of the ways that we like to do it. And like Kelly mentioned, it could be a one night, overnight backpacking trip. Like it literally doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be 2 miles, 3 miles into a camping spot. We just want to see you like getting out there, practicing, doing the brave thing, and then like seeing yourself, succeed from that. So, yeah, I
Yes, I want us to have so many badass graduates that I like cry on the trail seeing that hat. I know that the first time I see that hat in the wild, I'm gonna freak out. So we're like, ah. So okay, this the grad we were talking a little bit about our students from being like newbies to backpacking veterans, and
yeah,
we, in my opinion, have a pretty diverse community, whether it's in age, in region, in experience that they're coming with. So
yeah.
can you tell me who's a good fit for the program?
Yeah. So we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but we have all kinds of people who join the Backpacking Badass program. So, obviously this might be the most obvious one. You could be like a very beginner. You could even be brand new to the outdoors. Like maybe you're just like starting to find that spark of like, I would like to explore. Does it mean to like be more adventurous or like get more into hiking? Like we've had students join this program that weren't sure they were 100% ready to start backpacking just yet, but they knew they were like headed that direction or they wanted to even be more self-sufficient in their camping or their day hikes. So complete outdoor newbie. And you're just like, I'm curious to step into this, see what adventurous life might be, like what it might open up for me. And there's something calling to you about it. So that's a really good fit. Day hikers who know they're looking to transition to multi-night backpacking adventures and learning how to be self-sufficient. There's something that we talk about in the program of the like different self-sufficient personas that you can step into, which is being the strong group contributor. So that's like when you're invited on a trip and literally everyone's super excited to be there because they know you're going to have your shit together and you're doing things and you're helping the group and it's like safe to be with you. Like you're a person that they can trust. Or you might be the fierce adventurous leader, which many of our students end up being. Like they're taking their kids, they're taking like their grandkids, they're, coordinating a group of friends. Like sometimes so many of our students don't have a big outdoorsy community right now. So they're kind of the ones building that and bringing people along for the adventure. And then a lot of our students are also looking to like step into more solo adventures. So that could be something that you're thinking about for yourself. Obviously, beginner backpackers. We even have backpackers who feel like confident already in groups, but they're hesitating for whatever reason to like go on solo adventures. And that just tells me like there is a really big piece of like self-trust and like your personal skills that you're not quite there. And then there's also like a really big mindset piece, which we can work on in the program as well. So getting you over that hump so you can go on solo adventures and feel really safe and feel really confident in yourself. And then also we often do have people in the program that do have some experience already, like maybe even considering themselves intermediate backpackers, but like they just love learning and they love improving their skills and they want to be part of a community. This just reminds me of Donna, like when she joined the program. I think like in the past, her husband had taken the lead on a lot more adventures, and she was like, I'm really just interested in stepping more into a leadership position on my trips, learning more skills. But she had been on a lot of backpacking trips before she joined us. And she was like, I really just want to be part of a community, part of the energy, and like just grow. So those are kind of some really like core examples of the women that join us. But like essentially, if you have the stoke to like get outside more, to learn, to not be so reliant on other people, to have your own back no matter what, like this is the perfect fit for you.
Okay, so now I want to talk about region
Yeah.
all over because there's all kinds of stuff that comes up with like, is this going to be right for me? Will I be able to use it in Australia, the UK, Canada? And we do actually have students all over the world. We have students on pretty much, I think, all but one continent.
Yeah.
So, so can you tell me, will this course still, how the course still works for our international students since we're US based?
Right. Yeah. That's actually like a question we get a lot, especially in some of our webinars and stuff like that. People are like, "Oh, I live in Canada," or I live in Australia, or I live in the UK. Um, does this still apply for me? Like, can I still like apply this to where I live and the trails that I have like access to? And so that's a really great question. And as Kelly mentioned, we actually do have students all over the world in the Backpacking Badass program. So we, of course, have a really big group amount of people in the US, like all over the US, and we have a really big student group in Canada as well. So like there's a lot of Canadians in the Backpacking Badass program, hundreds. And then we have students, like Kelly mentioned, like in South America or South Africa, and we have like at least a like 10 or so people in Australia and the UK. So we're like growing all over the world. And the thing that I really want to mention here is like the skills, the systems, the coaching inside of the program really apply anywhere that you want to hike. And I use these same principles like on any adventure that I go. And I travel all over the world for hiking and backpacking and climbing. Our goal is really to teach you the skills of how to be safe and self-sufficient on any kind of backpacking adventure you might want to go on. And something that's really important to know is like, depending on where you go, even in the US, like even if you're from the US and you're thinking about different trips, every place requires a little bit different like approach. And there's like little different rules and regulations, and it's the same in different parts of the world. Like one of our, I think, students did her very first actual, she's from the US, but she did her graduation trip in Scotland on the West Highland Way. That she was like, I just want to go out big. I want to go do something big and epic. I think it was her 30th birthday or something. And so she did the West Highland Way. And really, we're teaching you those skills of like how to apply the research that you need in order to like do this anywhere that you want to do. So additionally, like one of the benefits also, because we mentioned the coaching support calls, is if you get stuck on something, like this is something one of the coaches can help you with. So you're like, I just like read about this like weird rule about this in this area. Could you help me understand what that means? Or like, I'm not quite sure how to apply that in this case. That's something that we can dig into with you as well. And then on a practical note, just to like, if anybody's wondering about like, okay, well, like, what about the coaching calls? Like, I'm in a totally different time zone. That's something that we have a solution for too as well. So one of the things with the Q&A calls is we put a post inside the group about 24 hours ahead of time. That way, if you have a question you want answered like by a live human being on a call, you can type in your question in advance and then we will like do the time to answer the calls. Like for example, we were talking about Zuli. I don't know if she ever got to really attend many of those calls live, but we were able to like pull up tide tables, walk her through like some of her Gaia GPS questions. Like we're able to support you no matter what time zone you're in. So and then you can watch the replays either in the Facebook group community or you can watch them in our members area. We post all the replays as well. So, yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but that's what immediately came to mind.
I don't think so. We always like send all of our like a calendar out at the beginning of the month. We
Yes.
even have been including time zone calculators. So like in our emails, because we've been getting so many international students that this year we just started like adding links like, hey, just click this and it'll tell you when these calls are. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah, we really try to bridge the gap for people who don't line up with the schedule, whether that's because you're busy or because you live in a different time zone. So the program is lifetime access, but how
Yes.
long does it typically take to complete?
Yeah, so that really depends on you and the results that you want. So, like, one of the very first things I will encourage anyone who joins this program to do is, and it's engineered this way already, so don't worry, like, we walk you through this, but I will like heavily encourage you to set a personal goal based on what you want your timeline to look at. Like, so for example, maybe you're thinking about 2026 and you're like, okay, I would love my first trip to be in the spring of 2026. And we're going to dial in on like, okay, what is that first trip going to look like? And put it on the Like, I think it's so powerful to not just say like, oh, I want to go backpacking, but say like, oh, I want to go backpacking and here's the date I'm going to commit to as best as possible and like start working towards that goal. So that's like one element of it. But if you're thinking just like logistically, the course, like how long it might take people to go through, we've had students go through the program within their first month of joining the program and then like re-go back through things. Like sometimes people just want to binge, watch content and then like go back again and start applying it. So you could do it that way. And some people have gone on their very first trip within a month of joining the program as well. And then a lot of our students end up pacing it out. Like that example I said, if they had a trip in spring, they're thinking, okay, there's 5 modules and I'm just going to like take my time going through them and start working through them as I go. And I'm working towards that first goal trip. So yeah, that's like, it's definitely a learn at your own pace. And if that feels like something that's tripping you up a little bit, if you feel stuck with that, that's also something one of the coaches can help you make like a game plan for and be like, okay, this is your goal. Here's what we recommend. Like, we're happy to do that on a call too. If you need like a little bit more help and seeing what feels realistic and easy and not overwhelming. But yeah,
Yeah, we do a lot of like customized research and planning with people like
yeah,
well beyond what's just in the framework. So, on the topic of like getting extra help from the coaching calls, can you remind folks who do who does all of the coaching calls?
yeah. I mean, and you can chime in too, Kelly. Like, there's me and obviously I host coaching calls and there's Kate and there's Kelly and we all come with like a wide range of backgrounds from training and fitness to backcountry safety and navigation and wilderness first responder training. Every single woman on my team is wilderness first responder trained. And we've also all have experience guiding trips. So yeah, we have a lot of, and Kelly, you come with an extra educational background. Do you want to talk about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, and on the topic of the wilderness first responder, like even Kate's, we call him Woofer, WFR. Even Kate's woofer is different than like me and Allison's woofer because she took one that was climbing specific, so it had like a lot of rock climbing scenarios. So,
Yeah.
and Kate does tons of coaching on rock climbing, tons of stuff on wilderness medicine and like route planning. I do tons of stuff on meal planning because I make my own meals and I
Oh
dehydrate
yeah.
my
She's
own
like
food.
master dehydrator.
We do, Allison and I talk about backpacking with dogs because it's not something in the core module, but both of us
Not
have
yet.
done it. Yes. Well, you haven't done it with, oh, you mean not adding it yet? Yeah, we'll have to put like a
We have so
backpacking
many
with
coaching
pets
calls on it
bonus.
though. It is a common question
Yes.
we've asked. Yeah.
So, so it's really nice with the different coaches. We're in different regions. We're from different parts of the country. We've explored different places. We have different interest levels. Like I'm a very meandery backpacker, and a lot of my stuff came from biology, where I was just like in places other people couldn't be.
Yeah.
And then you are like high achiever peak bagger, and Kate is like, only want to hike if there's a rock at the end of it that I can climb, right? So we all have very different attitudes and different experience. You live in the mountains, Kate lives on the rocks, I live in the flatlands, and
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's a good point. Like we all live in different areas. I mean, Kate and I live in a similar area, but
yeah, but she
different.
doesn't use it the same way.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and I would say
you're
caveat,
not
like
gonna
I'm
see her on the Manitou incline. You're gonna see her like climbing and Garden of the, well, it's just gonna be climbing like further north. But yeah, you
I'm not just a peak bagger. I do love me a chill trip too, but I just love like signing myself up for like experiences and trips that like will expand, like really expand and grow my capacity. And so sometimes I tend to get that reputation of like
yeah,
doing.
Allison talked about doing the rim to rim in one day, and I was like, no, no, don't invite
So
me.
but you can, like this is a really great example of like you can literally, this is going to sound such a cheesy like slogan, choose your own adventure, but it's true. Like you get to make this whatever you want to, and there's no like
No
putting
judgment.
no judgment. Like I personally get so much joy just from even the small trips. Like I just went on one in the Grand Canyon with Meg and a couple other friends. And for us, it was just such a type one meaning chill, fun, easy, laid back trip. We
Did
were
it
just like,
have like
wow.
5,000 feet of gain? And
Well, that's unavoidable in the Grand Canyon, but
she's like, it was chill. We just like hiked to
But
the bottom of the
for
canyon.
our okay, well, this is actually a really great distinction. Chill for like where we're at in our journeys
Yes.
of being backpackers. So like for you starting out, like this is why it's so important to never compare yourself. Never compare your day one to somebody's day like how many days would I be in now? Like times 11. That's too hard for me to do the math on. But um yeah, never compare your day one to somebody else because like we all literally started from the beginning, from scratch. Most of everyone on my team, I don't think none of us grew up doing stuff in the outdoors. So
Yeah.
we learned it
But
when we were
also, and like learning how to know what hard is even to you? Like when
For
you're
you.
reading the stats on all trails, do you know what 5,000 feet of elevation feels like? Or do you know what 10 miles feels like? Because
Right.
I just was talking to my friend who went down to Alabama to visit her family. They went on a hike that was moderate, marked
Yeah.
moderate. They came out on another side of a camp. They were like, we were not like, we didn't take enough water. The dog was panting. It was like crazy elevation. And they came out of a canyon that had a warning sign that was like,
Mm,
this is an extremely hard hike. Like
yeah.
on the trail, it was being called very difficult. But then because of how people were rating on, like on a crowdsourced platform, like All Trails, which is very great for research, but it's all user generated. So it really depends on who's getting on there and calling hikes easy or hard. And if you don't know how to read that data, like you might get yourself in a bit of a pinch or not get what you came for if you were looking for something harder. So
Yeah,
it
and a big
doesn't
element
matter.
of that, like you mentioned, is just like knowing yourself, knowing where you're at, knowing what you're ready for, what you can grow into, like how you might want to grow into, and then most importantly, which a lot of new people don't have if they haven't learned what to look for or what to think about, is like understanding and having the trust in yourself that you can make the call to turn around or like, get yourself out of that situation if it turns out to be like too much for you at this point. And that is not a failure. There have been so many trips that I've like been like, oh, I'm going to do this thing. And then, just I got humbled, like I got altitude sickness or it was just a little bit too much for me that day, and turned around. So these are all really important parts of being like self-sufficient and like really trusting yourself. So
Yes. Okay, I want to shift gears now because we are getting closer to an hour, and I want to
yeah.
talk about some of the like limiting beliefs that we see come up a lot in the Backpacking Badass program when we're talking to people who are wondering if this is for them, when we're hearing from people on their biggest concerns and what they feel has been holding them back.
Yeah.
So, I want to get into some of those. So, if there's somebody thinking or has been thinking for a long time that they really want to start backpacking, but they don't have anyone to go with because we talked about that mentorship before, and it's kind of scary to get into by yourself. So, can you like address that?
Right. There's actually, this is super normal. Honestly, one of the most common things that I hear in the program, and so many women that join the Backpacking Badass program actually don't come from being plugged into super outdoorsy communities. Like their friends aren't really into it, their partners aren't really into it typically. So you wouldn't be the odd one out. Like there's a lot of people that are in that very same place when they start out too. So here's something that I always like to offer to my clients when they're getting started. Like, I don't want you to focus on like what you don't have, like, oh, I don't have anyone to go with yet. I want you to really be honed in, focusing on like building your own skills and learning how to be self-sufficient and having your own back. Because when you do that, that is when you get to like open up other possibilities. And more specifically, like you can step into, like I mentioned this earlier with the personas, but like you can become that, fierce, adventurous leader where you're the one kind of rallying people in to join in on you, or you could feel confident enough to go solo. But this is like the other thing that I want to mention here is like when you really focus on yourself and your skills and like really honing that in and feeling confident and self-sufficient, you actually like this is a part that people don't really believe me until they experience it for themselves. This is when you start attracting that kind of community that you want. So it's kind of one of those weird things where it's like, oh, you think you need to wait until you find those people before you get into this thing, but actually you're going to find those people way faster if you start really focusing on like becoming the friend that is competent, is self-sufficient, and even if you're not like taking newbies with you, like it starts to attract even people who are like already good at this to be like, oh, I would love to invite her. She knows what she's doing. Like she would be like a great addition to our group. And so I always encourage people to like don't let that be a reason you don't start, because when you start, that's when you're going to like attract your adventure community, your adventure friendships. That's my personal experience, and like a lot of our clients have had that as well.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to give yourself your friends grace because they're not in mindset coaching, so they're gonna some of
Right.
them are gonna bail. Like Zuli that we've been bringing up, I was amazed. She took like six brand new people and nobody bailed. and I was like,
Oh yeah,
that's
that's
an
great.
anomaly.
Yeah.
So when
But
you
no,
have like
she
these
really
tools,
like she was like, you know what?
she included everyone in the
These
plan though.
people want to
She
do this,
coached
and
them.
I'm going to learn what it takes to like lead these
And
people. Very
you know what? That's a great point. Like Zuli took the coaching that we gave her and then literally did that coaching for her people and included them in the safety plan and asked us leadership questions
yeah.
specifically and had nobody bail.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
great. Well,
that's what when
that's
I
something that
go
happens.
and when I go on trips, I make a safety plan using our template from the Backpacking Badass program. And same thing, lots of people see me being super adventurous and they're like, "Can you please teach me?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, please come hiking with me." And every single time it never fails. People are amazed by the safety plan. They feel
Yeah.
so secure going out with me, going out with our students because they know the plan. They can give it to somebody at home, like their safety contact. I add my people onto my SOS satellite communicator so they can text their loved ones. Like when you become that really confident leader, your confidence pours into other people and
Oh
they
yeah.
feel safe and secure going out with you. And yeah, it's crazy. It's if you build it, they will come. If you plan it, they will come.
Yeah.
Another one I hear, and this is sad because I literally just like read a testimonial the other day that was like they were talking about being 40 and thinking this. Am I too old to start backpacking? Which we've even like done some things like backpacking after 40, and some people like out in the internet space will be a little bit offended. And we want to say like we don't think 40 is old. That's that's our point. But we say 40 because that's when we really start hearing it. Like women in their late 30s, early 40s are writing themselves out. Not, then you get into 50s, 60s, 70s, which we have those women in the program, and that's even more. So we see these generational like hurdles for feeling like women get devalued as we age. So what do you
Right.
have to say about being too old to backpack?
Yeah, absolutely. You're not too old. Like Kelly mentioned, like we literally have clients from all age ranges. And in fact, like probably the bigger majority of our clients are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and we even have clients in their 70s. So many of them would tell you what I'm going to tell you right now. And I know it might not land the same hearing it directly from me, but like so many of them are so glad that they gave themselves the chance to see if it's possible and like open up to the idea that this could be the start of their next most adventurous chapter instead of being like, oh, I'm going to count myself out of this experience because I'm probably too late to the game. Like literally, like Sherry, when she joined, she was either in her
50s.
late 40s or early 50s.
She's in her
And
50s.
she has done so much since she joined, and she has like really transformed her life with like the outdoors and adventure and all those things. So I just want you to like hold space for that possibility. And if you're still not believing us, like just send us an email or something, and we will send you a bunch of people's stories. Like we have recorded testimonials from people. You can even go to our Instagram right now. We asked some of our clients, like, hey, like if you were going to share something, some encouragement or something with people considering joining us this week, would you just leave a comment? And we got over like 40 or 50 comments on there from students, many of them who started later in life. So go read their comments. It's on my Instagram page. I think I pinned it this morning. So you can find it at the very top. And yeah, read it directly from the words of our clients.
Yeah, and you just sent out an email about an 80-year-old woman
Oh,
finishing the
yeah.
Appalachian Trail,
Betty
like,
Ellenberger.
or Grandma Gatewood, who was
Yeah.
an 80-year-old that was a
Oh,
literal trailblazer for the Appalachian Trail, and that was before like ultralight gear and stuff.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
like, again, backpacking with the gear, like when you learn what gear is available, when you learn the like rock solid research plans, when you get out there on day hikes just to learn how your body feels, you will be so confident that you can plan a trip exactly that you need. Like
Right. And I'm just like, if you want
climbing
to
up,
do
it's
something,
perfect.
if you have the desire to do something, you want to do something, like why would you ever count yourself out of potentially creating that? Like we have this, as far as we know, this like one life to experience and have like build these different like experiences for ourselves to like grow to all of these things. Like I just don't see any upside to telling ourselves like we can't do something and instead like looking for ways to like make it possible.
And as I was reading through those comments on that post, there was somebody who is a 70-some-year-old student, and she said this has been, I think it was Kathy, was saying like this is one of the healthiest decisions she's ever made for herself. She was on actually a summer trip with you, the beginner adventurous reinvention. So she was hiking in the Sierra Nevadas with you, carrying
No, she
five
was on
days.
the intermediate, I think.
No,
Kathy?
different. Maybe I'm
Oh,
thinking of a
different
different
Kathy. Oh,
Kathy.
sorry. I'm thinking of a different Kathy
So it
who's
was
also
like
in her 70s.
yeah, she was on the one where we got stuck in a hurricane. She almost like
Yeah, yeah.
fell backwards in water and she was like, "No!" And she threw herself forward because the meadows were all flooded that year. It was like a crazy year, but she was like the biggest badass on the trip. So, but different Kathy from this year's ARE, she was saying
Oh, yes,
that
yes.
this is one of the healthiest things she's ever done. She's like more active than ever. She's feeling really strong. She's aging
Love that.
strong. So that's
Oh,
another
poor
thing we
Kathy.
really hear a lot about being fit. A lot of people don't get into backpacking or they put it off for those
Mm.
perfect conditions where they're going to go to the gym X amount of times, they're going to lose X amount of pounds before they can start. So, what do you have to say about people that are worried if they are
They-
fit enough for
right. Or
backpacking
if they need to get in shape
or
for something.
even just they're worried about handling the weight. We hear that a lot. Like they're
Okay.
scared of a heavy pack.
Well, I'll answer the first part first. The biggest thing I have to say around this is like there is literally never anything more motivating for me and most people that I know than setting the goal and that's the thing that you're working towards. So it's like, okay, instead of waiting to be like, oh, I'm going to start backpacking when I'm more fit, I think it's like so much more motivating to show up for that and like show up for yourself in that when you're like, no, this is the thing that I want to do. And like, how do I show up for that version of myself who gets it done and how she completes it? Like that is
And
what's
why
gonna
not make it enjoyable and fun? Like
yeah,
why
and
not
it's
make
going to be
fitness
fun.
amazing?
There, you gotta like when it comes to like a lot of people worry about motivation and being fit enough, and a lot of like we have to work with our brains, and our brains really need like desire to really drive them. And when you have that goal and you're like imagining yourself completing the trip, your desire is so much higher, and you're so much more willing to show up for that person. So that's huge. I think like that in and of itself is just a reason to be like not to wait till you're like quote unquote more in shape, whatever that means elusively to you. But then also what I'll say is like you get in shape getting ready for your trips. One of the things we teach you in module 2 is setting the goal, creating a training plan to get prepared for that goal. And then everything else in backpacking, it comes down to like one of the reasons we train is so we can see how our bodies feel. You mentioned pack weight. It's like we're doing that in our training too. We're like slowly building the weight over time. That way you can like make adjustments. You can come to coaching and being like, oh, like, hey, I'm noticing this pain, and we can be like, give you some suggestions on like how to best move forward. It's part of the process. You have to like take those small steps. And the training is so such an important part of that to help you understand your body, to help you understand like what is like you were mentioning earlier, like what does 5 miles with 30 pounds on your back feel like? What does 1,000 feet of elevation gain feel like if you're doing something in the mountains? It kind of depends on where you're going. You might not have that much elevation gain, but we're starting to get those touch points. That way, future you who has gone on a couple trips, when she looks up a trail or sees something on the internet that she's like, oh my God, I would love to go do that. She knows how to do the research, look up the stats, and be like, she can immediately, like, no, I am 100% like capable of doing this right now. Or this is something I can totally get prepared for very soon. Or like, okay, I want to grow into this and like work towards it. So, like, yeah, I went on a tangent, but these are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and we've even had folks say, like, I know we were talking about fitness and health, but we've even had people tell us in their graduation emails that their friends have noticed this is the
Yes.
healthiest, most physically and mentally that they may have ever been, because they learn how to take that time for themselves. They prioritize their own desires, dreams. They did something super healthy like getting out in nature, which, as somebody who has a degree in biology, I could do a whole TED talk on how good that is for your brain.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh,
it's just
it's
really
so
amazing.
true.
And
Kelly,
then you as as a lot of women in our course are grandmothers and mothers and aunts, they're like instilling these healthy habits into their families as well. Because we have tons of women that do that. Some of them call it forced family fun, but some kids actually will love going out with their families because they get the total focus of the
right,
family. I've heard our students say that too. So, when you are investing in yourself, what we see with our students, it's actually investing in community because that has a ripple effect. That
right.
self-care is community care. And it's just really beautiful to see how hiking can do that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's invaluable for me. I mean, I was just thinking about the Grand Canyon trip like last week that I got back from, and I remember being like so busy. We have this enrollment going on. There's so many things behind the scenes that people don't even know about that we're doing and we're working on and building. So I feel like it's never been busier than ever, and we have a very small team. And I was like, there's no way I have time to go on this trip. But at the same time, I'm definitely a big commitment girl. So, like, if I tell somebody I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. So I was like, committed to this trip. And I was feeling stressed about it. And then I was out there for 4 days and I just got like so much, you get out of your to-do list, you get, into like no cell service. And like all of those worries just like literally melted away, which was exactly what I needed coming back. I felt just like so much more calm and grounded. And I mean, a lot of people may have like little touch points with this, like even if they haven't gone backpacking, like the hiking trip that they've done, they just felt that peace. Like it's the mental health aspect of it is like literally, it sounds cliche to talk about sometimes, but it's honestly like one of the best things that we can do for ourselves. So,
Yeah, and paired with that mindset coaching calls, because you just talked about how you have pre-trip anxiety.
oh
I get
yeah,
pre-trip anxiety.
very normal human thing.
And we will get you through it. Yes, we will get
Yeah.
you through it. And it's not always fear, right? That was guilt for your responsibilities, which I think a lot
Mm,
of women can relate to. Like, even if you're not scared to go out, there's the to-do list, there's people counting on you, there's the chores, but it's just like when you fill your cup, you can pour into others. So,
yeah.
you know,
And
remember that when you're feeling guilty.
our brain loves to like it loves to like solve a problem, and like when you're in it and you're at home and you're surrounded by all things that are trying to get your attention, like it's
That's
like, no, this is the most important thing. We need to focus on this. And then
yeah.
you get outside and you're like, no,
That's
literally
why you need to get outside. Yeah.
eating my dinner with this jet boil is literally the most important thing, and I'm gonna go to bed at 8 p.m. And like,
Yeah, when you like boil down your daily to just your basic needs, like that brain fog gets cleared
yeah,
pretty fast and you come back really rejuvenated, exhausted maybe, but clear mind. So,
yes,
all right. So if somebody's on the fence, what do you want them to know about making this decision to join us before Friday, November, let's see,
21st.
21st at midnight Pacific time? What do you want people to know about joining us for the Black Friday this year?
Yeah, I love this. You mentioned this email earlier, but if you are on my email list and you saw the email this morning, I sent out this email about Betty Kellenberger, and I have a point to this, so stick with me. She's an 80-year-old woman. She just completed the Appalachian Trail or Appalachian, however you want to say it, after several failed attempts, so it wasn't her first try. And the reason I bring this up is there's something in there that really resonated with me that I shared in the email that Betty said. And she said this thing. She said, "We put all kinds of limitations on ourselves, but sometimes the biggest one is that we don't get up and try it." And I was like, ooh, that's a mic drop moment. Thanks, Betty. And it's so true. Like we tell ourselves all kinds of stories and lies, and we put so many limitations on ourselves. Like, there's no way someone like me can do that. That was a really big one for me, actually. When I first started, I was just like, I'm not outdoorsy, or I'm not brave, or I'm like not very adventurous kind of person. And I'm too shy. Like, I had a lot of stories when I first started. I'm probably too old for this, is a one that we get often, like, am I too old in form of a question. You mentioned this earlier, like a lot of people come to us and say, like, I have kids or like I have aging parents, I have a lot of responsibilities, and like with a side of a lot of guilt around doing things for themselves, or sometimes people like feel like they need to lose weight or get in shape first, and they don't know what they're doing and they don't have anyone to go with and they don't want to go alone, and maybe they're going to wait until life like calms down. But honestly, y'all, life be lifing all the time. Like it never I have not reached the land where like life magically calms down. So I just want to encourage you that if you want to do this thing, if you're really interested in having a more adventurous life, stepping into that version of you, like you really have to stop holding yourself back with these perceived limitations. And like Betty said, just get up and try. Like you just got to give yourself that chance. And you've got to take a little leap of faith into the unknown. And that is so much easier to do when you have a process to follow, you have a community to lean on, and you have coaches to get support on anything that you're working through at any time. So these, the community that you're in the Backpacking Badass program are people that are really rooting for your success, will support you when things get tough. And it makes a world of difference of being in that kind of space. So I just want you to imagine what opens up for you when you allow yourself to not be defined by your limitations and instead start thinking from this place of opening up to what might be possible for you. And this stuff starts on the trail, but it also like overflows into your actual life. And it's life changing and it's mindset shifting, and it can impact so much more than just your backpacking adventures. So that's my spiel.
Yes, it's true. I love it. And you'll see that confidence come off the trail with you. You know, it doesn't begin and end at the trailhead. It's with you for life. And so are we when you join the Backpacking Badass program. You can't get rid of us.
Totally. And I think we're gonna like probably wrap it up now. I just want to say thank you to everyone who logged in with us here live. And whether you decide to join us or not, I hope that this session, this Q&A call helped you feel a little bit more clear, a little bit more grounded, a little bit more capable of stepping into the adventures that you've been craving. So if you are feeling that spark inside of you, if you want to do this, like, I just want to encourage you to trust that. And we are really going to be here with you every step of the way. Our Black Friday enrollment, just as a reminder, is open right now. And you can go to shedreamsofalpine.com/Black Friday to check out all the details, read more about the program. And this is the best week to join us. Get all of these Black Friday bonuses, get our $200 off the program discount, and really lock into this future version of you in 2026. So doors close tomorrow, November 21st. Oh, sorry. This is Wednesday. They close Friday. Oh my gosh, my days.
I did
Friday
it too.
Friday, November 21st at midnight. All right. So if you have any questions at all, like maybe you didn't want to ask them publicly, maybe you're thinking them quietly, like don't be shy. Don't be hesitant to ask, Kellie or I questions. We're in the inbox all the time. We're checking DMs. Like reach out to us. We're happy to answer any kind of question for you.
Yeah, and as the community manager, somebody that is on a touch base with students every single day, I can say with absolute certainty that I have seen how this program changes people's lives. So if you're thinking about it, just don't wait. Ask us anything and just know that we're here for you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you all so much for chiming in. And if you're listening to the replay, shout out to you too. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.
We'll see you in the group.
Bye. Hey, I wanted to thank you real quick for tuning into the show and listening all the way to the end. If you love this episode and you want deeper support in becoming a safe, confident, and self-sufficient hiker and backpacker, then head over to shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist to learn more about our Backpacking Badass coaching program, where I teach you absolutely everything you need to know to be self-reliant on the trails and stop waiting around on others for the adventure invite. So I'd love to help you more in your journey of stepping into your adventurous identity, and that program is the absolute best place for us to start working together. So again, that's shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist, and you can learn all about it there. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you get to spend some time outside this week, and I'll be back very soon with a brand new episode. Bye.